Osama bin Laden managed to run one of the most dangerous terrorist networks in modern history without using mobile phones, emails, social media, or the internet. At a time when governments relied heavily on satellites, digital surveillance, and advanced tracking systems, bin Laden deliberately chose the opposite approach. His success was not accidental. It was the result of a carefully designed system built on secrecy, human trust, and extreme patience. The foundation of bin Laden's network was his deep understanding of one simple truth: technology leaves traces. Every phone call creates records. Every email creates metadata. Every digital signal can be intercepted, analyzed, and exploited. While intelligence agencies invested billions into electronic surveillance, bin Laden built a system designed specifically to leave nothing behind. At the center of this system was a strict ban on electronic communication. Bin Laden did not use mobile phones, landlines, radios, or the internet. Even devices owned by people close to him were tightly controlled. This forced Al-Qaeda to rely entirely on human couriers, men who physically carried messages from one location to another. These couriers were not ordinary messengers. They were selected through years of personal trust. Most had known bin Laden long before he became the world's most wanted man. Loyalty mattered more than intelligence. Obedience mattered more than initiative. Each courier knew only what was necessary to complete his task. No one had a full picture of the network. Messages were rarely written down. Instructions were memorized and delivered verbally. When written notes were unavoidable, they were destroyed immediately after being read. Some messages were deliberately vague, using coded language that made sense only to the intended recipient. This ensured that even if a courier was captured, the information he carried would be incomplete and difficult to interpret. Bin Laden also avoided predictable patterns. He did not stay in one place for long periods early on. He changed routines frequently. Meetings were rare and carefully planned. When meetings did happen, they were often indirect. Bin Laden would remain hidden while intermediaries passed information between parties. This reduced the number of people who could identify his location at any given time. Another key element of his system was compartmentalization. Al-Qaeda did not function as a single, unified organization where everyone knew everything. Instead, it was divided into small, semi-independent cells. Each cell operated with limited information, often unaware of the identities or activities of other cells. This meant that the arrest or death of one group did not compromise the entire network. Bin Laden encouraged decentralization long before it became a popular concept among extremist groups. He understood that a tightly centralized organization was vulnerable. By allowing local leaders to plan operations independently, he reduced the risk of large-scale exposure. His role was not to micromanage, but to provide ideological direction and strategic approval. Trust played a crucial role in maintaining this system. Bin Laden trusted very few people. Those he trusted were often family members or individuals who had proven loyalty over many years. Even then, trust was conditional. Anyone who showed signs of carelessness or ambition was slowly pushed aside. Survival depended on discipline. Physical geography also mattered. Bin Laden favored environments where modern surveillance was difficult. Remote regions, mountainous terrain, and densely populated areas with limited infrastructure provided natural protection. These locations made it difficult for intelligence agencies to rely on drones, satellites, or electronic tracking. Ironically, bin Laden's low-tech approach turned advanced technology into a disadvantage for his enemies. Intelligence agencies were trained to intercept signals, analyze data, and track digital footprints. When there were no signals to intercept, their tools became less effective. Human intelligence, the slow, uncertain process of informants and surveillance, became the only option. Bin Laden understood that human intelligence takes time. People must be recruited, trusted, and protected. Mistakes can be fatal. By forcing intelligence agencies into this slower method, Bin Laden bought himself years of safety. Financial operations followed similar principles. Instead of using banks or formal systems, funds were often moved through informal networks, personal deliveries, or trusted intermediaries. Transactions were broken into small amounts to avoid detection. Money moved slowly but safely. Bin Laden also minimized his own visibility within the network. He did not appear in operational planning once Al-Qaeda matured. Instead, he became a symbolic figure whose approval carried weight but whose physical presence was unnecessary. This made it harder for intelligence agencies to locate him based on operational activity. Another crucial factor was patience. Bin Laden was willing to wait months or even years between communications. He did not demand constant updates. He accepted delays. This patience frustrated intelligence efforts, which relied on patterns and timelines. Without regular communication, there was nothing to analyze. Over time, this system evolved. As pressure increased after 9/11, Bin Laden reduced communication even further. Some messages took months to reach him and months to return. Operational tempo slowed, but security increased. Priority became survival. However, this low-tech system was not without weaknesses. Human couriers could be followed, patterns could emerge, small mistakes could compound over time. Eventually, it was not technology, but human behavior that exposed Bin Laden's network. Couriers had routines. They traveled between specific locations. They interacted with specific people. Intelligence agencies began focusing on these patterns rather than searching for electronic signals. Slowly, patiently, they mapped the human network that technology could not reveal. The very system that protected Bin Laden for years eventually led to his discovery. A single courier, trusted deeply and used repeatedly, became the thread that intelligence agencies followed. By observing movement, behavior, and association, they uncovered the location Bin Laden believed was secure. Bin Laden's approach offers an uncomfortable lesson. Advanced technology does not guarantee security. Simplicity, discipline, and human trust can sometimes outperform even the most sophisticated systems. His network survived not because it was modern, but because it was deliberately primitive. Understanding how Bin Laden built and maintained this network is not about admiration or justification. It's about recognizing how systems adapt under pressure. Terrorism does not always rely on innovation. Sometimes it relies on rejecting innovation altogether. In a world obsessed with speed, connectivity, and constant communication, Bin Laden chose slowness, isolation, and silence. That choice allowed him to remain hidden for nearly a decade while the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world searched for him. His network proves that the absence of technology can be as strategic as its use, and it reminds us that in conflicts shaped by ideology and secrecy, human behavior often matters more than machines.